Before the advent of the scientific age, people claimed to see monsters everywhere, on land, in the water, and in the sky. These creatures were the physical manifestations of society's anxieties, appearing in every possible form. During the Middle Ages, Europe was filled with countless tales of monsters, each more bizarre than the last. Monsters existed in every imaginable shape drawn from nature, and their presence extended beyond folklore into daily life, often appearing as decorative motifs. Whether in architectural designs or ornamental patterns on manuscripts, textiles, and heraldic symbols, these imagined creatures evolved from human and animal forms, sometimes merging elements of both in fantastical combinations. The diverse medieval monster motifs reflected the artistic imagination of the time, blending the grotesque with reality. Broadly, these monstrous depictions fell into three major categories: religious, folkloric, and exotic. Compared to the depictions of monsters in other cultures and historical periods, medieval European monster imagery was particularly strange, filled with influences from Christian worship and animistic beliefs. These creatures embodied both fear and fascination, serving as symbols of divine power, cultural myths, and the mysterious unknown. Medieval art was deeply intertwined with religious fanaticism. After Christianity became the sole official religion of the Roman Empire, the Church sought to bring all aspects of the secular world under divine rule. However, the Roman Church initially struggled to completely transform the beliefs of the masses. To win over the common people, it tolerated their traditional festivals and customs rather than attempting to abolish them outright. As a result, highly imaginative monster figures and richly symbolic motifs thrived under the halo of Jesus, freely appearing in various folk celebrations. During the Middle Ages, the general population of Europe had extremely low literacy rates. Aside from missionaries and some members of the nobility, most people were completely illiterate. Because of this, monster motifs became a powerful visual tool for spreading Christian doctrine. To make the gospel accessible to the illiterate masses, the Church used striking imagery to embed religious teachings into art. Missionaries told stories, both religious and secular, using fearsome monsters and grotesque demons, such as the gargoyles of Gothic cathedrals. In an era before the printing press, illustrated manuscripts were filled with vivid symbolic imagery, with marginalia teeming with mysterious figures. Creatures originally rooted in pagan traditions, such as unicorns, griffins, and centaurs, were reinterpreted through the lens of Christianity and given new meaning. These transformed symbols were then integrated into the architecture and artwork of churches, reinforcing religious messages through visual storytelling. For ordinary people, life was filled with countless unknowns and mysteries. The lack of knowledge and understanding forced them to use imagination to fill these gaps, expressing both curiosity and fear of the unknown through the depiction of fantastical creatures. These imagined monster motifs were not only tools for the Church to spread doctrine, but also powerful symbols used by medieval rulers and nobles to reinforce their own authority. They incorporated monstrous imagery into coats of arms, heraldic emblems, and banners, using the mystique and terror associated with these creatures to enhance their aura of power. By adopting these fearsome symbols, rulers sought to project an image of strength and invincibility, instilling both awe and intimidation in the common people. Beyond their symbolic power, these monsters were also believed to possess protective properties, warding off evil and misfortune. Medieval society relied on these images to make sense of the mysteries of the world, convincing themselves, through psychological reassurance, that these creatures could offer them strength and protection. Thus, people both feared and revered these mythical beings, seeing them as both terrifying and sacred. The prevalence of monster motifs in medieval Europe was not solely influenced by religion and secular power. A significant portion also stemmed from people's imagination about the unknown world beyond Europe. Before the age of exploration, medieval Europeans relied primarily on classical texts and travelers' accounts to shape their understanding of foreign lands. These sources, however, were often filled with exaggerations and embellishments, such as the sensationalized descriptions of the East in the travels of Marco Polo. Beyond written accounts, oral tales about distant lands were even more fantastical, stretching the limits of credibility with outlandish details. In this haze of uncertainty, medieval curiosity and imagination thrived. Creatures described in ancient Roman texts, such as those found in Pliny the Elder's Natural History, merged with familiar animals, shaping the medieval worldview of nature. According to this mindset, lands not blessed by God must be home to bizarre and monstrous people, animals, and plants. As a result, when Europeans projected their sense of superiority and fear of the unknown onto their imagination, depictions of uncivilized monsters emerged in their art and daily life. These grotesque, exotic creatures became a way for medieval society to reinforce its own cultural dominance, a visual statement of their superiority and vast knowledge about the world, even if that knowledge was largely based on fiction.